Hello, everyone, and welcome to this brand new series on the usage of the query formula inside Google Sheets. In this series, we are going to be exploring how to use the query formula in Google Sheets, and not just for the basic operations, but for other kinds of combinational operations as well. And we're going to see how this is going to change the way you do your data work on a day-to-day basis on spreadsheets, and how this can be an effective tool for that. Okay, so the another reason why I want to do this series also is because I want to use this formula as a source for data professionals to understand basic data skills. Now, what usually happens is, I don't know about, I don't think it happens much now, but definitely a lot of people got into professions where they had to go into more data, more reporting, more Excel, and building charts, building dashboards, and all those things. And a lot of people learn a lot of that stuff on the job. But what happens is a lot of that gets limited within the job you do or within the things that you're expected to do on a day-to-day basis. However, you don't pick up the fundamentals from these tasks and apply it onto other aspects or other tools in the data journey as well, right? So the idea is to understand the query formula not just from a formula perspective, but also from a fundamentals of data and data cleaning perspective as well. Because we're going to be doing a lot of querying of data, right? We're going to be selecting columns, we're going to be moving columns, we're going to be aggregating the fact columns, so to speak, or the columns which have the numerical values, right? The columns where you can do sum, average, and things like that. You can't do sum average over labels like region and retailer, but you can do it definitely on units sold and total sales. So we're going to be doing a lot of that stuff. We're going to be doing, and we're also going to be understanding how this can help you understand SQL. So for many data professionals, they have a little bit of a hesitation, especially if they don't come from a coding background, saying that, oh, if I have to learn a language like SQL or learn a language like Python, it's coding. I don't know coding. How do I bridge that gap? Where do I start? What do I do? Right? And I think in today's day and age, and the way we function and the way things are changing, it becomes imperative for any data professional who's serious about making a career in this space to definitely pick up SQL and one coding language popularly, which is Python in the data space. So to bridge the gap between being a spreadsheet user all along versus trying to understand new languages, this formula here, the query formula, can kind of help build that bridge, right? So what is exactly the query formula? So the query formula is, think of the query formula as putting the capabilities of SQL or SQL inside a common spreadsheet formula. So if I just come to the side and I show you, so we have this as my query formula. Okay, and if I expand it, so essentially what we are going to be doing is we are going to be using the tables inside the spreadsheets, and from that we are going to be generating other kinds of tables and cells and matrices or whatever you want to call it to be able to get the results that we need, right? Because as you know that in the world of data, we can never get our analysis of a single table. Sometimes you will have to modify the way that the table is built in a certain way so that you are able to get your answers faster, or you're able to link your data quickly to any visualization or any table, right? So the idea is that we need to understand how the language of querying works. And if you're doing it in a spreadsheet format, you can apply the same thing and learn it in SQL. And mind you, there is no similarities in terms of the operations. Okay, so what I mean to say is that it's not like if you learn the query formula, you can that then SQL works in the same fashion. Not exactly, because there are differences in the syntax. There are differences in the way you write. the code. So in coding, syntax, the language, like how we have it in the English language, the structure of a sentence, grammar of a sentence becomes important. In the same way, when you're writing queries, the order in which it is written and the keywords used and things like that become very, very important, right? So you can probably take out the concept and the main fundamentals from this formula, but when it comes to syntax, you need to understand the difference between the syntaxes of what you write in the query formula and what you would actually write when you are trying to work with SQL. Right? So we are not going to go too much into the SQL aspect of things. So I'm not going to show a comparative thing and say, okay, if it is like this here, then in SQL it's going to be like that. We are going to be sticking all our focus into the query formula. We are going to be keeping it to the Google Sheets. We are going to be doing all the operations that we can with the query formula, and these are operations that all data professionals are doing on a day-to-day basis, right? Selecting columns, filtering columns, adding calculated fields, and all that. So we are going to be covering all those things, and if you get the understanding of the fundamentals with this series, okay, it will help you understand SQL as well. You will have to pay attention to how the syntax works in a SQL, whether you're using MS SQL or you're using Postgres. The fundamental, the way the data is moved, the way the data is filtered, all that remains the same, just with the difference of a syntax. So the idea is to not just teach you how to use the query formula, but it also helps you to understand fundamental data skills, which you can apply not just in SQL, but in any other language, any other visualization tool, and the like. So stay tuned for more videos on this, as we're going to be covering how to write our first query, the most easiest query, that is selecting columns. We're going to be starting with that, and then we're going to be building on the complexity by adding more things like filtering of data, grouping of data, formatting, filtering, ordering, limiting rows, offsetting rows, and the like. So I have a list of clauses in this tab over here, which I have picked up from the documentation of the query formula on Google Sheets. So these are the clauses that we have, and with the definition. So you have select, where, group by, pivot, order by, limit, offset, label, format, and we have additional options as well. So we're going to be starting our first video with the select column, because just like in SQL and like in the query formula, all the queries start with the select command, and we are going to be doing the same even in this series as well. So stay tuned for more videos on this, as you'll be covering the entire query formula, and we're going to see different other ways to use this formula within the environment of spreadsheets. I hope you like this video. I hope you can use it, and I hope you will follow along with the series and gain some extra data skills. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.